Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Although I suddenly realized this is an HR summit, I'm a chief executive. I feel a bit out of place. It's like that lawyer that runs into a court late, and then he sees one lawyer stand up on the right, saying, "My lord, I'm here for the defense," and on the right, on the left, another lawyer stands up, "My lord, I'm here for the prosecution," and he has to say, "My lord, I'm in the wrong court." But I'm going to try anyway. I'm a biologist by training, pretending to be a businessman, now trying to talk about human resource. I'm a very confused person, but I will attempt to discuss what the topic is today. Let's first start with how critical your role is. As a chief executive, I rely on my human resource team and my human resource head to maintain the ecosystem and the environment in the workplace, to help me manage the quality of my staff, the well-being of my colleagues, and to ensure that we're always trying to do the right thing by them, incentivize them, and at the same time, discipline them when necessary. It's a very fine balance, and you're never going to get it right all the time because things are always evolving. The key is to have a very, some people call me crazy, some people call me other things, but CEOs generally tend to think they're the masters of the universe. We really think we know everything. I mean, that's why we're the chief executive. We like to think we know everything, and we don't. We don't. The job of the human resource person in an organization is to bring some clarity and some grounding to the vision of the CEO, to the drive of the CEO, the need to expand, the need to grow, the need to speed to a point where they feel their success. The human resource person is the person that has to ground the CEO and say, "Listen, this is what we need to do. Here we have some issues. Here are the gaps." And it's that balance that makes an organization work. And that's how critical your role is. I can tell you it's critical in my organization, and it's not easy, and we still don't have it right. Anyone that says they've got their structures right for human resources is full of shit, excuse my language, because we're always evolving. So it never stays the same. It's never stagnant. And when we're talking about innovation and technology, what used to take 1,000 years to change, then took 500 years, then took 250 years, then took 100 years, then took 10 years. Today, if you notice, things are changing almost on a yearly basis. Technology is coming in at a speed, an accelerated speed, that we almost can't keep up with. One of the key roles you must take on is you have to balance technology, artificial intelligence, automation, etc., with humanity, with the needs of the community, with the needs of your ecosystem and the community you live in, your organization operates out of. Because we are not like America, Malaysia, for example. India is not like Malaysia. Bangladesh is not like Singapore. Japan and Indonesia are completely different. So each country, each community must operate their business and the evolution of their business based on the environment they're in, on the ecosystem they're in. Because, in a country that has a lot of workforce and is not quite as rich as another, you have to slow down the use of automation, perhaps. We still need it. But maybe we slow it down because we have to upskill our workforce, so that if this set of jobs will not be necessary in a year or two, they are trained and prepared for the next evolution of where they can move to. Education, upskilling, these are critical factors of what you must do when you look at companies and you look at your organizations evolving. And this is what you must bring to your CEO. Tell him in advance, because you know what? A CEO is already ahead. We're playing chess, not checkers. Right? We're looking at the big picture. We're planning everything along. And sometimes we lose sight of the current and the smaller picture. We do. That's just our nature. We don't get it right all the time. And your role is to do that, is to bring us to the current as well, as we balance the future. Now, let me just give you some examples of what I mean. Because, there is this talk, work from home, right? The pandemic got everyone to say, hey, work from home, this is good. We're flexible, the job gets done. I am not an advocate of work from home, right? As a norm. To me, for my organization, it will not work. And it does not do me as chief executive, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. It does not benefit me. Because, and I'll explain to you why. Number one, I don't have loyalty. Because when you work from home fully, you're disconnected from your organization. You're disconnected from your colleagues. You're just talking to people on Zoom. You're not interacting. And I can tell you as an entrepreneur, some of my best ideas have come when I'm interacting with my colleagues, when I'm sitting there brainstorming, when I'm walking around. We are not robots. We are creatures of habit. We're humans. We have personality traits. We have needs, and we need connectivity. Even those that feel they don't need connectivity, your job is to ensure they get it. Because an organization has to work symbiotically. Now, I'm not saying don't work from home when there's a need. Our organization is one of the most flexible. If there is a need, please work from home. If you have an issue with children, if there's a restructuring that's required, yes, we must ensure and help that situation and allow the flexibility. If there is a handicap and there is a need to work from home more than anything else, we must allow it. We must ensure that's there. So when there's a need, definitely ensure it. It's like any other decision you make. This must be allowed. But don't make it the norm where everyone can. Where the quiet person that's not very sociable, that says, you know what, I don't like mixing with people. I just like sitting and doing my work and that's it. That does not help your organization. That does not help your organization grow. That does not make your organization become an iconic, flag bearer for what companies should be. And that's what you guys should be doing. You guys should be helping your organization get to the top of their game. Because if someone is closed and just wants to just be on his own, and you say, or she, you're just going to say, go ahead, just do your work from there. Number one, as I said, there's no loyalty. So they will just jump to another job whenever a better opportunity comes. They've not been interacting with anyone, so they really don't have a connection with either people in your organization or your organization. So even when you're going to allow a certain amount of work from home, ensure that you bring them to the office as often as possible. Ensure there are events or there are reasons where you're connecting the individuals in your organization. That is also your role. Remember, it's not just about hiring people and what people is required to fill a job. You are managers of your ecosystem. You are key players in the kind of people that make up the body of your organization, the health of your organization. Don't underestimate how critical your role is in everything we as businessmen do. Now, going back to how I was explaining why we have to be careful when we talk about automation. Now, when you say everyone can work from home, we're automating, we can do everything by AI or whatever it is, in countries that are poorer, less developed, let's look at my building in Bangsa. When people were not coming to work for obvious reasons, in the pandemic, when the office was empty, or it was 30%, I can't remember, it was 30, then 70% staff allowed, and 30% staff allowed. You know who suffered the most? The small traders. Because all the food trucks that survive on the daily wage of the employees that come and they want to go buy lunch, or they want to have tea, they want to have a coffee, well, those guys weren't around anymore. the grocery shop, where the people are on the way home, they want to stop and buy some food and get back, suddenly had no business. So this impacts an entire ecosystem, like I said. It is not just a simple decision you make when you say people don't have to come to work. It impacts everything around you. And organizations, any business, must no longer, as I said, be thinking that just their business is all that's important. The ecosystem you operate in is critical. Your organization having employees in a building is part of an ecosystem that feeds many others. So any decision you make must look at that. Your CEO must look at that for the greater good. Right? Now, as we evolve, we cannot not evolve. Innovation is an absolute. Technology keeps changing. We have to pivot. We have to be ready to change our position. I'll give you an example. We have a company called Green Rubber. We created a chemical process called D-Link. It's historic, it's award-winning. We won many awards for it. But when we started, it was a good technology that could recycle rubber tires. It changed old crumb, taken from tires, into another compound that can go back into tires. Now the problem was when we started it, it required 180 to 200 employees to run about 20 refiner mills, physically by labor to take it out. It took forever. It had a lot of human error because you're relying on manual labor to do it and to check on it, and the quality control wasn't there, but that was what the technology could do. Now, move 15 years later, we've evolved the technology now where that same area that could only do maybe 4,000 tons a year can now do 25,000 tons a year. And what required 150 laborers, employees to do the physical work now requires maybe 20 because things are automated. So these are kind of evolution which a company like ours in that arena needs, because if we didn't do that, we couldn't sell to the major tire companies the compound we have, because tire companies aren't interested in 4,000 tons. They want much more. They want things to be able to scale up. At the same time, as we evolve, we realize, well, gosh, what about the ecosystem that we're creating? So we had to evolve them as well. We had to retrain. We cut down foreign labor. We retrain upskilled Malaysians. And we continue to. We have to, right? Prepare them for other things, to do other things within the organization. Make sure they are machine operators. Make sure they know how to deal with the automation system. And that's, again, another critical aspect of your job, right? Is to, okay, we need to prepare for upskilling. We need to prepare to innovate our own workforce so they're ready for what's ahead of us. And these are all critical factors in how an organization succeeds, right? Look, I'm a capitalist. I want to make money. That's what I do. But I'm a social capitalist. And social capitalism to me is exactly what capitalism should be. Socialism is a failure. It's stupid. It doesn't work. Why? Because it goes against human nature. Capitalism, as defined by some extreme businesses, is also nonsense, right? It has to be sustainable wealth creation. How do I make money? I make money by selling you a product or you a service. How do I make more money? I need more of you. Which means I have to play a role in pushing people out of poverty into the middle class. Because I want your money, but I need you to have it before I can take it from you. This is how the world should work. We all have needs, but we have to play a role to make sure everything is sustainable and everyone goes up. There needs to be a minimum quality so that we can lift everyone up. We cannot, look, we live in a ridiculous time right now. The world is crazy, right? We all know this. We live in a time where we have simultaneous epidemics of both starvation and obesity, sometimes in the same country. Think about it. How stupid is that? Too much food, starving. It makes no sense, but we allow it. We sit back and say it's fine. It's dumb. It's really dumb. Why am I saying this to you? Because you are the people that interact with the workforce. You create the community within your organization. This is the mindset you have to get into them. When you come into your organization, you have to change the way they think. They're a part of a bigger picture. You have to convince your CEO that we're part of a bigger picture. Play chess, not checkers. In chess, we might lose a pawn, we might lose a castle, we might have to give up, sacrifice a bishop. But the strategy is to win the whole board. When you win the whole board, you have everything. But that takes time. It's not an immediate, it's not checkers, right? You just win now. It takes time. But at the end, the gain is absolute. You won the whole board. And you guys play a very important role in that chess game. In terms of the players, in terms of the kind of people, in terms of the fortification of your organization, and the spirit of your organization. Don't forget, you are all also the biggest cheerleaders of your organization. You are the people that have to ensure that your team feel positive, vibrant, needed, valued. So that you reach a stage where people don't want to leave your organization. Yes, I might get a better job offer there, but I have a better future here. I'm understood. There's flexibility. They take care of me. And they know where I want to go to. And they've allowed me an ability. They've given me a path to grow, to rise. And they feel good about it. And they feel inspired. When you combine all those things, people don't want to leave. They're happy. You make them happy. That's loyalty, and that's where they want to be. You're not always going to get it right. So please don't fear making decisions that are outside the box. Look, failure is just an education. Just don't fail at the same thing twice. If you're going to fail again at something, make sure something new. Because each one's a PhD. Trust me, I have multiple PhDs in failure. I've fallen many times, flat on my face, on my butt, many times. The issue is not failing. It's whether you've learned and whether you can get up and get on with it. If you deal with each mistake as a learning experience, then you're nothing but stronger. I've had many people come and say, Dr. Vinod, I want to be your partner. I've never failed in anything. I'm ready. And my first reaction, please go fail first and come and see me. I don't want to be your first. So don't fear the unknown. Don't fear taking chances. Don't fear trying something new. I'll tell you now, you won't get it right all the time. But if you get 70% right, that's pretty damn good. So, yes, perhaps be cautious in how you look at things, but don't fear innovation. Don't fear trying to take chances. And innovation is not just technology. Innovation is how you deal with your community and your employees, your colleagues, how they interact with you, and how your CEO interacts with them. Make sure your CEO doesn't get disconnected from his colleagues down the line. Make sure he or she understands, by the way, it's our receptionist's birthday. Just on your way out. Understand what that means to a receptionist. When the chairman or CEO walks by to the lift, looks at it and says, hey, happy birthday. Have a great day. It means the world to that person. It means the world when a guard downstairs in the lift lobby is recognized. When your dispatch clerk is recognized. You have to help your CEO play that role as well, because that just enhances and strengthens your community, your work. So, as I said, We rely on you. Multifaceted job you have. Okay? We can't operate our businesses successfully without you. And yes, sometimes we take you for granted. And yes, sometimes we just are full of ourselves because we think we're right. Your job is to push back where you feel it necessary and ground us. Give us sort of a reality talk sometimes about the way things are, because we're a bit, distant from sometimes the ground. We're all over the place. I started my company with $50 as a scholarship student in America. I started Southeast Asia's first commercial internet company when I was 24. Everyone said I was mad. Who's going to send a message on a computer at that time? That's what a fax machine is for. Look where we are now. The evolution of everything, of businesses, the learning, me going from one employee or two employees to what we have now, to one company or two companies to what we have now. All that is only possible with individuals like yourself backing us up. And individuals like yourself are also sometimes the people that evolve into great CEOs. So don't limit yourself to where you are. Aspire. Inspire others to aspire. Because at the end of the day, the job of a leader is to lead holistically, is to give hope, is to inspire, and to move forward positively. Try get your CEO to understand profit must be looked at beyond cash. Profit is important, but profit must be beyond cash. There are many other aspects of profit that are critical. The environment we live in, the ecosystem we live in, the community we support, the employees we have in our organization. How well they do, how happy they are, is a key element in how we must look at what profit is. Right? Profit must be beyond cash. So these are the elements that I was sharing with you that I want you to keep in your head, because you are the ones that interact with your staff. And some of your staff will one day become CEOs or senior leaders somewhere. Your young intern is going to rise. You have an opportunity to mold them, to give them a direction, to give them a path. And I really want you guys to. Look, I've been talking a lot, and I'd love just to interact and have a dialogue with you. So, maybe, are there any questions I can answer? Don't be Malaysian and keep quiet, please.
Yeah, any questions for Datuk Vinod? I'll hand over the mic to you. Anyone here? Just raise your hand and I'll get the mic. Any comments, any questions?
Well, the human resource people are very quiet.
Yeah. Everyone's just mesmerized by what they're hearing. You can go on.
Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, look, I wish you all the best in what you're going to be doing going forward. Learn, evolve, be ready to pivot when necessary. Be ready to help your company pivot, because that's what will happen and will be needed as we go forward. Thank you all for having me here.